Hello and welcome. This is Matthias 76. Together, we are decoding the deception. Together today, taking a look at the last part of the 13th chapter of the book of Revelation, looking at the second beast and what it does. The last video was on the image of the beast, giving breath to the image of the beast and all the power that it will have. Put out the ideas that I have of what that I believe looks like, my estimation of how that could come to fruition. Today, we're on this. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Want to take a look at the text here, and these two things flow together from the image of the beast and then his mark flowing from that. So we'll pick up with verse 14, actually. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, that's the second beast doing it for the first beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those, here we go with the mark, and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. It also causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand and the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. As I begin here, I want to make sure and say, I'm putting a link in the video description, and it is a link to a video on the number of the beast, 666, by a man named Jonathan Pageau. Jonathan Pageau is a brilliant guy. He's all into symbolism. His channel is called The Symbolic World. Brilliant guy. Watch that video. It has been very instructive to me on my journey of studying and trying to fully come to grips with the book of Revelation. It's very philosophical. He's a very deep thinking kind of guy, but it's very well presented. The content is amazing. Again, I'll put the link in the description to the video down below. So 666 is the number of a man. Our culture, both inside the church and out, has shaped our thinking of what that number of a man represents into something that I think is misleading. And notice what's on the screen here. We've got the scholar, intellect, reasoning. We've got the businessman, in charge, in control, has economic power. And we've got this incredible physical specimen over here on the right, just being everything that a man can be. That's what this image represents. It's not what we think of with 666. We think this, the number of the beast. We think fire. We think Satanism. We think Ozzy Osbourne and heavy metal rock music, all of that stuff. And it is, I believe, misleading. It keeps us from understanding from a theological perspective what 666 represents, and in the true movement of the powers of the air that rule this world, what 666 and the mark of the beast is really about. It's really more of this, a digital age, about enlightenment. And the key concept here maybe is thinking of man as being everything he can be being upgraded, augmented, transformed into more than he thought he could be. And with that idea, let's just jump to the Garden of Eden. Basically, what did Satan promise Adam and Eve? How did he deceive them? He promised them an upgrade. You will be like whom? You will be like God, knowing good and evil. This is about satanic deception, but it's Satan, Lucifer, the light bringer. We could go off on that for a long time, but he entices by promising amazing and wonderful things, lies, half-truths, distortion, playing on our pride, manipulating us. He masquerades as an angel of light, 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. He's going to deceive and convince us that we can be augmented, we can be improved, we can become better than what we are. God's order of things limits us. It holds us back. That's what he was saying in the garden. The way he phrased it in the Garden of Eden was basically saying, why is God keeping this good stuff from you? You could be more. You could be like him. That's the concept at play here. And remember, Satan tells the same lies again and again. He puts a different wrapper on them, the same lies. Now, to understand the numerology here, and this is not something I'm encouraging you to delve into. I have spent some time looking into it, kind of getting my mind around it. Once I got my mind around it, I walked away. I wanted to understand the way they look, they being the forces of darkness and those who rule and govern this world. They are very much into numbers. And part of why they're into 666 is the numbers itself, 6. It's an interesting number. You take 1 plus 2 plus 3, you get 6. You take 1 times 2 times 3, and guess what you get? You get 6. If you take all of the numbers between 1 and 36 and add them, guess what you end up with? 666. There's this completion, this fullness to it. Okay? And remember, we'll talk about some of these concepts as we move forward, but I can't help myself. 6 days of creation, the number of a man. Man was created on the 6th day. And this is something Pajot, go watch the video, does a great job of explaining. There's the stuff that can't be accounted for, can't be controlled, can't be reckoned. The 7th day, the day of rest, 7 being the divine number. But this is about bringing everything under control, accounting perfectly for everything. And that's where that technocracy tie-in comes. If you've watched the last video, we'll touch on it again here today. There is a famous magic square that if you add the numbers across the rows, they all sum to 111. 6 of them, you get 666. The columns, they all sum to 111. Add that up, you get 666. Even diagonally from top left to bottom right is 111, and from top right to bottom left. You add them up, it's 111. This is about gematria or gematria, depending on who you're listening to and them talking about it. Again, this, I want you to know about it like I want you to know about heroin, like I wanted my kids to know about heroin. What do you know about heroin? Heroin's bad. Stay away from it. Or crack, whatever. You need to know about it. It's bad. Don't play with it. It's dangerous. All of the satanic orders, whether it's Kabbalah, whether it's the Masons, whether it's the Jesuits, they're into all these numbers. They believe it's a blueprint into the power of the universe, and that if you tap into it, you have power and control. And so they put those numbers everywhere. They jump out of news stories to me. The things that have 33 in it, 84, other numbers that are very, very important to them. Okay. That's all I want to know about it. I don't want to go into it. I don't need to read about it. Don't need to follow it. It's like crack. Know about it, stay away from it, but it's really important to them. And it all ties in with this 666 stuff for our purposes. Biblically, let's talk about 6. It is the 6th day of creation when God breathed life into Adam, created him. It's about the created order of things, all the things of this world. In the 600th year of Noah's life, Noah went into the ark and God shut the door. You see, there's biblical background for the way these numbers are used, this number of a man. And what was going on? Why did this whole ark thing with the animals, other than making cute artwork for kids and a favorite Bible story, why did this happen? Because Satan had intervened into the world, Genesis 6, 1 through 4, and the fallen ones who came down interbred with women. And the mighty men, the Gibborim, the giants were in the world. Total perversion and corruption. And don't miss, that was a genetic incursion. I don't know if Adam and Eve knew about DNA. I don't know if Noah knew about DNA. Satan did. And in the garden, that promise, her descendant, her seed will crush your head. That means kill you. And you will bruise his heel. Oh, then I intervene into the genetic code, take it over, and then they can't get me. There won't be a human race. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but those giants, when they died, they were hybrids. They weren't human. They were B'nai Elohim and human, hybrid. Their souls had nowhere to go. The demons were the disembodied spirits of the dead giants. They're damned forever. There's nowhere for them to go. That'll tie in with the mark of the beast. Solomon, this one's easy to slip by. It's in 1 Kings 10:14 or 2 Kings 10:14, one of the two. Every year his intake tax-wise was, guess how many talents of gold? Just guess. 666. The ultimate pinnacle of rule, wisdom, authority, he got 666 talents of gold every year. And then finally, there on the plains of Dura, that statue of Nebuchadnezzar, standing 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide. You can't miss this stuff. 6. It's a really big number. All of these things tying in with man. And going back, we should talk about this. What was it Nebuchadnezzar represented? Nebuchadnezzar ruled the known world at the time. Power, dominion. There's a lot of historical documentation, but even in scripture, talking about the dominion, the control of this world that he had. It's about bringing everything under control. And if you make them bow down and worship your image, you've got total control and ownership over them. It's more than just a Bible story. It is significant in all kinds of ways, this number 6 and all that it represents. But we've got 7. 7 is the perfect number. It's the combination of the divine, the triune God, and the earth with the 4 corners, the 4 seasons, the 4 winds, the 4 living creatures. There are even 4 gospels. But the biblical concept of 7 and the day of rest ties in with a lot of things. And it's down here. It's over on the right. You've got the seventh year was the year when slaves were set free. You got debts forgiven. The land was supposed to rest. You got your possessions returned to you. And on the 49th year, 7 times 7, it was even bigger. But there was more. See, we don't have their worldview. We don't think the way they think. There was the stuff that was supposed to be left in the margins, not accounted for, not controlled, not taken into possession, under dominion. The margins of the field. You weren't supposed to harvest all the way to the edge. You were supposed to leave it for the poor and for the foreigner. And the hems of your garments weren't even supposed to be tied off clean and finished. The idea is there's something that's beyond your control. There are things beyond you there in the margins. The gleanings that were to be left. It wasn't all about dominion and control. The difference between 6 and 666, which is just 6 on steroids, being man having dominion over all. He can bring it all under his control. Do you hear technocracy there? We'll get to that in a minute. It can all be controlled, accounted, put it in a ledger. Total dominion. And that is what the forces of darkness are trying to bring about, pretending to be forces of light. Everything can be accounted for. You can put it on a graph. You can decide and control how it is distributed. Do you know what Rome was really good at? What Rome did better than any other of the civilizations of old? They controlled. They dominated. They were organized. They did it through terror, through power. The Pax Romana, peace of Rome, was this: be good and we'll let you have some autonomy. We'll let you live. We'll let you breathe. We'll let you pay your taxes. Cross us and you die. We'll destroy you. And it is that concept of control, everything that man can be, is why that system never really died. It went underground for a while. It's represented now in those 3 city-states that I talk about regularly. And on a world level, you got the United Nations, which is all about what? Bringing everything under control. It's just one tentacle, right? You've got things like the Club of Rome, the World Economic Forum. Notice it's economic forum, but it's about you'll own everything, own nothing, and be happy. Why? Because it's all going to be accounted for. It's all going to be controlled. And in order to do that, in order to reckon and account for everything, this is your accountant losing his mind here, trying to keep on top of everything. And I love some of these signs. Everything counts. Numbers never lie. If it exists, it can be categorized. If it can be categorized, it can be accounted for, right? And to some degree, running businesses and all that, this stuff's fine. But this is about domination and control of everything. And that is where technocracy comes in, and that is where Hegel comes in. Remember, the Hegelian dialectic, that's what everybody knows about Hegel, right? This pleasant-looking German philosopher. And the Hegelian dialectic was simply the mechanism whereby you bring about what Hegel believed in. The march of God, air quotes, big time, in history is the cause of the existence of states. Their foundation is, get this, the power of reason realizing itself as will. Man being all that he can be, and the state being everything. Technocracy. The state is the absolute reality, and the individual himself has objective existence truth and morality only in his capacity as a member of the state. Do you wonder why you feel like a number? You only have significance in your capacity as a member of the state. This all flows together. Technocracy didn't spring up out of nowhere in the 20s and 30s on its own. It was planted in the minds of men by the dark lords who rule this world. But in order to bring it about, man has to have an upgrade. He's got to be improved. His abilities have to be augmented to bring technocracy fully into existence, and the fact that it results in a digital prison for us is okay in their minds, because after all, we only have existence and significance and value as members of the state. And so central bank digital currencies, to give them dominion and control, the ability to govern through technology everything, coming about through the Fed and the World Bank and all of the other monetary organizations. And this is about not some, in their minds, the way they view things, the way they approach things. It is not about some Ozzy Osbourne biting the heads off of bats, rock and roll, Satanism kind of stuff. This is about man being improved to be all that he can be. And yes, quantum computing on the big picture is part of that. But we have to be augmented. We have to be updated, like this graphic of the code inside. And that is where this mark of the beast comes into play for both great and small, rich and poor, slave and free. They all have to receive that mark. And what is that mark? That mark is genetic manipulation. It's shown here because how else do you show it as being digitalized, some kind of exoskeleton, who knows what. But again, enhancement, augmentation. We'll get back to that a little bit more. The CBDC thing, and if you're not participating, that's some serious pressure. What would you do if tomorrow you couldn't buy or sell? No going to Walmart, no going to Publix, no getting Instacart sent to you if you're not participating in the system. It's about control. It is about ownership. It is about being brought into the collective. This is there for the Star Trek fans, right? The Borg cube. Think of, for those who are Trekkies, all the things that were said about the Borg, right? Your existence becomes part of the collective. It was a space age image of the Hegelian state of technocracy. They always put this stuff right in front of you where you can see it. That's part of their moral code, which I won't get into for now. But back to the mark of the beast being genetic manipulation, intervention, transformation. Remember, Satan's, in the ancient world, they didn't think of one fall into sin, as that was the whole thing. No, it was the fall into sin in Genesis 3. It was also the incursion of the B'nai Elohim in Genesis 6. And then you've got the Tower of Babel incident as well. But we're just going to talk about the second. Satan intervened in man's timeline, into his DNA, because the promise of salvation, the Savior, the Messiah, was that the woman's seed would crush Satan's head. Well, Satan's solution was, I'll just take over humanity. I'll take it and make it into an image of me. That's where the giants came from. And the giants, what did God say to do with them? Kill them all, wipe them all out. Anywhere where there could be any remnant of the giants in the conquest in the book of Joshua, and in our video series on Joshua, we talk about it. Wipe them all out. Take no chances. Kill them all, because it is an infection, a genetic infection, this incursion that would keep people from being saved. Your DNA is who you are. It's God's creation. If you take it and allow Satan to pervert it and twist it into something else, then you can't be saved. Think of it. I've always, with the mark of the beast, back when we thought it'd be a barcode, back when barcodes were new, right? Or when we thought it'd be a chip, back when chips inside you were new. What I couldn't ever get my mind around was, how could that keep you from forever from being saved? Because when you look at what the book of Revelation says about the mark of the beast, once you take it, you're done. There is no coming back. There's no getting out of it. Repeated numerous times. How could that be? The genetic intervention accounts for that. It explains it, because you're no longer human. You become something else. You buy the lie, Satan's promise of augmentation. You are taking your genetic future into your hands so that you can be enhanced, become more. But what you are no longer is God's creation, his child that he would redeem, for whom Christ died. And again, I think that we are at a point, and again, I'm not saying that this is absolutely what it is. Not saying that. I think it's a good chance this is where it's heading. 10 years from now, might that opinion change? Could be. That could be. But this answers a lot of questions. Take that augmentation, allow your DNA to be changed, and then, just like the Nephilim that are so popular on YouTube now, 10 years ago, nobody knew about them hardly, and now it's everywhere about the Nephilim. But these were some pretty amazing critters, some pretty amazing entities, whatever. You can be more. You can be changed. You can be more than you are now. You can be all that you can be. You can take, who doesn't want to be smart, successful, and looking like this guy on the right? You can be like an NFL player, an NBA player, whatever. Genetic manipulation, augmentation, man taking his destiny into his own hands and trying to account for and take under control that which is in God's purview, that which is in the margin. So this calls for wisdom. That means we need to think. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right. We're going to stop there. Do pray that what we do here is a blessing to you. If it is, then I ask you, watch the end of this video, the closing, and do all those things. It really does make a difference in getting the word out, and you're the ones who can make that happen. This is Matthias 76. Together, we are decoding the deception. God bless, and have a great day.